Hey everyone, it is Monday. I started A Court of Frost and Starlight last night, got about halfway through, and then I finished it up today. How do I feel about it? I didn't feel like this story was as good as the others. I know it's a novella, but basically I felt like it was just put together to have an excuse to have another book for the series. There were some okay parts, but if you don't end up reading this, I don't think it would affect you in any way for the rest of the books that are hopefully coming out. Like I said in my last vlog, I know there's going to be a book next year sometime that's coming out. This story is not going to affect anything. It's kind of just like a placeholder story. I feel like it was just written to have the excuse to have that sky scene, to be honest. Also, I would have rathered, if they were going to do a short story like this, I would have rathered Sarah J. Maas write about Cassian and Nesta through their point of views, because there were really small pieces that were from their point of view. And it was set up that Nesta was having, I guess, PTSD from the war and seeing her dad, what happened to her dad, and everything. And poor Cassian, he's just trying to live his life to the best of his ability because they almost lost each other. And yeah, what happened to that? Like, she has no need to be around him or want to talk to him after their experience in the war together. And I don't know, I just feel like that would make her not want to waste time and not be ignoring him. Poor Cassian. I was hoping there was going to be some resolution to that as well, since Sarah J. Maas wrote about that, but there really wasn't any resolution to that. And Nesta, I don't know, I don't want to be annoyed by her, but she was kind of annoying in this book because she was kind of annoying in this book because she just was angry again. So I felt more annoyed by Nesta in this book because she just seemed annoyed by everyone and put out by everything, and she really felt like her character had reverted back to the way she was before the war, and I had seen growth in her during the war. So I don't know, I just kind of was irritated by that. Elaine had a little bit more spice to her, but she's still not really that interesting of a character. So this could have been a novel where they really explored her character development, but it was more just like a Christmas special kind of book, which I don't even watch Christmas specials on, like, any channels. But anyway, it was okay. It wasn't the best. I wouldn't really recommend it, and I don't think I would ever read it again. If I was to reread the series, I'd probably reread the first three and just skip the A Court of Frost and Starlight story. Anyway, I'm going to continue reading. I still have the Secrets of Sebastian Beaumont that I had put off for this week. I'm going to be reading that next and hopefully finishing that next and starting another Audible book. Yeah, so there's my check-in for Monday. Hi everyone, just checking in. It is Thursday. Thank goodness tomorrow is Friday. I read 2 books. One finished last night. Today I finished a short one on Audible. The first book I finished was Body in the Bayou, which is the second book to the Cajun mystery stories. Again, I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. It was just kind of like one of those fluffy mysteries. Another body, another murder, and our main character solving who did the murder and why. A lot of different suspects again. But yeah, it was interesting. I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy the next one because the first two were free on Audible. So I'm probably going to buy the second one, possibly if it goes on sale. I'm not sure I want to use my credit for it. Yeah, it was just an okay kind of read. I feel like this is a sort of read that you would want to read like when you're outside in the summer, or possibly all cozy in your bed for Christmas or winter. It's like my neighbors know when I'm filming. But yeah, it's just kind of like a comfortable mystery, nothing too crazy, just basic. The book I just finished today was Yard Work by David Koepp, and it was read by Kevin Bacon. I think it was a fantastic performance. Basically, it's about a man who is grieving the recent loss of his wife, something he did not expect to happen. He expected to go before her, and it's also kind of got a thriller element slash horror element. Kind of has some Stephen King vibes for me. Just dealing with death and life and nature and things that are unexpected, and not knowing what's coming next is just horrifying. And I thought this was done really well. I thought it was a little eerie and a little creepy, especially with his home out kind of in the forest area. It just kind of kept me on the edge of my seat, wondering what was going to happen next, and just had that little bit of horror element to it, which I really liked. I'm going to give that either 4.5 or 5 star, just because I really liked the elements of it and the horror of it, and just the storytelling of someone going through loss. So that's my check-in for today. I'm hoping to pick up Sebastian Beaumont today, but I'm judging myself because poor Sebastian Beaumont, I have not even picked it up. I'm on page 92 and I haven't picked it up since the first time I read it. Anyway, I will check in with you tomorrow. Hey everyone, it is Saturday and I'm checking in. So last night I finished The Dispatcher, the second book in the series, and The Dispatcher is a book that follows a man named Tony, and basically he has a job where he helps people die so that they can come back and respawn as healthy as they are, and in a safe place. So being a dispatcher basically gets a lot of people to want to hire your services, and sometimes the jobs are questionable. So if someone has a risk of dying in a certain job, or there's like an illness and they have a risk of dying, dispatchers are hired to help them pass on so that they can respawn and be healthy and have a second chance at life, basically. So murder essentially is completely erased, and in this novel, Tony is propositioned, and basically any dispatcher can be propositioned with things that are more illegal in a sense towards their job, and he decides to take this job. He doesn't think that there's a problem with it. He gets a certain amount of money, and later on people start dying around him and they can't figure out why, and they feel like he's connected to all these deaths. And basically it turns into a mystery, but sort of like a futuristic sort of mystery, because people can't be murdered, but all these people are dying in strange circumstances. So he has to help figure out what it is and kind of clear his name in a way. So I thought it was interesting. I ended up giving it a 3 star. It was really well performed and I enjoyed it. I also just finished reading Deviant, which is the true story of Ed Gein. And if you're unfamiliar with Ed Gein, basically he is one of the most gruesome serial killers he's been the inspiration to a lot of like slasher / horror movie villains, including Norman Bates and Leatherface, and a lot of other big bads in the horror movie industry. So basically, Ed Gein was a man who was raised in a sort of unstable household. His mother was very like domineering, and his father was somewhat abusive, and he didn't really have a great relationship with his family, and he wasn't encouraged to make relationships with anyone outside because his mother saw everyone as evil and with loose morals, kind of like we know Norma Bates is, and she kind of discouraged a normal upbringing for him because she felt like everyone was evil. And basically he saw a few things in his childhood, and he suffered from some sort of mental illness as well, and he started killing people after his mother had passed away. Basically, he did this in a gruesome way. Like, he created skull bowls, he was able to preserve skin. Even Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs was inspired by him, just from the skin suits that he was inspired by, I guess. So basically, Ed Gein would cut people and he would save pieces of their skin, essentially, and that kind of inspired Buffalo Bill's skin suit in a way. Anyway, he had a lot of mental issues, and he went after women who specifically reminded him of his mother, because he saw his mother as like the perfect person, but not only that, he also saw her as an evil person, and that just, her death just kind of triggered his sort of I guess murderous spree. It wasn't like a bunch of people, but it was quite a few people. And then before he started murdering, he technically was a grave robber, and he took a lot of things from graves, which is very disturbing. So a lot of the information in this book is disturbing, but it's very factual, and it talks about the psychology of him, and the court case that he had against him as well once he was discovered. So it was a very interesting listen. I finished it in one day. I'm rating it also a 4-star. The narrator was very like procedural, so that was kind of hard to keep my focus, but for the most part, like, all of the facts were interesting in a way, because I really like to understand how the human mind works. And anyway, I thought it was really interesting. So if you're interested in true crime, I recommend Deviant. Hi everyone, it is Sunday morning. Excuse the bedhead. This is my check-in for this morning. So basically, last night I happened to finish The Secrets of Sebastian Beaumont, and I've been meaning to finish that for a while. Here's the book, The Secrets of Sebastian Beaumont. It didn't take too long to finish once I got started on it again. Basically, The Secrets of Sebastian Beaumont is about a woman named Danielle Beaumont, and one day she receives an invitation from her grandmother, who they've kind of been estranged over the years because her grandmother and mother had issues, especially over her mother marrying someone that her grandmother didn't want her to marry, and then she basically moved to another country, which was the United States, and she decided not to ever come back to the plantation. And this plantation is in South America, I'm not exactly sure where it is. I know it's in South America, but the plantation is basically a vanilla bean and banana production plantation. Anyway, there is a young man there when she arrives, and he has basically taken the place of a surrogate son to her grandmother, though he is about her age, Danielle's age. And basically he's running the plantation, and he initially feels very suspicious about Danielle just showing up when her grandmother's sick, not realizing that her grandmother had reached out to Danielle to come visit her and get to know her before she ultimately passes away. So basically, this story is about this woman finding out about her grandmother, her grandparents, her grandfather, the plantation, and this country that she is new to and has just different customs than what she's used to, and then finding out about her mother's relationship with her grandmother from her grandmother's point of view, and then finding out about Sebastian Beaumont, how he was raised and how he became part of the Beaumont family. And it is it's kind of like a slow burn kind of novel. I wouldn't say it's suspenseful at all. It's more of like just a regular fictional story. There are some like mysterious elements to it, just because you're trying to figure out what's going on this plantation, and basically what are the motivations of other people in this country, like the neighboring plantations, and why the grandmother was so suspicious of all these other people. And that's what made it interesting. Also, the dynamic between Danielle and Sebastian was interesting. It was a very slow burn between them, and there was a lot of suspicion between them. And yeah, it was very slow paced. It was almost too slow paced for my liking. Just the relationship of them developing. But overall, I thought it was a pretty interesting book. I gave it a 3-star. And this week, I'm going to be working on the Buzzwordathon. So I'm going to read as many books as I can that have the word night in the title. So the first book that I'm planning on starting is The Night Gardener, and that will be starting tomorrow. But anyway, I'm excited to participate in that. And this has been my week of reading this week. Let me know if you guys have read anything on this list of reading and what you guys thought of it, or if you're interested in any of these stories.